Radio Footlights.
Welcome, dear Footlighters, to Podcast 4, and a very happy new year to you all. These are challenging times, as we all know, so we must do all we can to keep ourselves feeling positive and to lift our spirits. So with that in mind, let's leap into 2021 with Johnny Coppins, Gloucestershire Wassail.
Wassail all over the town. Our toast it is white and our ale it is brown. Our bowl it is made of the white maple tree. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. So here is to Cherry and to his right cheek. Pray God send our master a good piece of beef and a good piece of beef that may we all see. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. And here is to Dobbin and to his right eye. Pray God send our master a good Christmas pie and a good Christmas pie that may we all see. With our wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. Wassail, wassail all over the town. Our toast it is white and our ale it is brown. Our bowl it is made of the white maple tree. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. So here is to Broadmay and to her broad hall. May God send our master a good crop of corn and a good crop of corn that may we all see. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. And here is to Phil Pale and to her left ear. Pray God send our master a happy new year and a happy new year as e'er he did see. With our wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. Wassail, wassail all over the town. Our toast it is white and our ale it is brown. Our bowl it is made of the white maple tree. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. Come butler, come fill us a bowl of the best. Then we hope that your soul in heaven may rest. But if you do draw us a bowl of the small, then down shall go butler, bowl and all. Then here's to the maid in the lily white smock, who tripped to the door and slipped back the lock, who tripped to the door and pulled back the pin, for to let these jolly wassailers in. Wassail, wassail all over the town. Our toast it is white and our ale it is brown. Our bowl it is made of the white maple tree. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink to thee. Wassail, wassail all over the town. Our toast it is white and our ale it is brown. Our bowl it is made of the white maple tree. With the wassailing bowl we'll drink unto thee.
That was Johnny Coppins, Gloucestershire Wassail, from his 1990 album, The West Country Christmas. Great start to the year and to the podcast. And I'm reliably informed that wassailing goes on well into January, so it's still seasonal. There'll be an interview with Johnny later in the programme, but first, here's a little glimpse into what was happening on Christmas Eve. Hi Footlighters! We're just about to start the delivery of the Encourager, so we've got about 67 envelopes to get out to you, so...
And guess who I am?
Ah!
And guess who this is? It's Santa's little helper.
Oh, well, it's Christmas Eve. We aim to get all your envelopes out, and we wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Merry
Yay.
Christmas. And a happy new year.
Indeed. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Stay
Bye.
safe, stay well.
Merry
Bye-bye
Christmas.
now. Bye,
Ho,
Merry
ho,
Christmas.
ho, ho.
Woohoo! Well, what fun we had that day, hand-delivering over 70 copies of The Encourager from about 10 in the morning until about 9 at night. I think we were busier than Santa. Over 100 went out in all, and we hope you enjoyed the magazines and that you will wear your radio Footlights or Jolly Jukebox badges with pride. It was great to see a few folk and to have a little chat from safely socially distanced doorsteps, and we hope that you all had a lovely and peaceful Christmas. Reflecting now on the magic of Christmases past with another original poem by our own Joyce Neal. Winter, Past and Present by Joyce Neal. Now you all know I love autumn, well, apart from the wind and the rain, but add in the cold dark of winter and you might hear me complain. But with winter comes Christmas, the best season of the year, when hearts are lighter, streets brighter, and everyone full of good cheer. We may have had snow all over the ground and trees all covered in frost, but they'd sparkle in winter's sunshine, so none of their beauty was lost. We'd go gathering holly and ivy to decorate the house or the church, plus mistletoe and fir cones. The young ones joined in the search and helped with the glue and the glitter to make inside as bright as could be. And to imitate the brightest stars, we put fairy lights on the Christmas tree. We'd wrap up warm for snowball fights and slide or sledge down the hills, make angels in the soft, fresh snow, and show off our snowman skills. With carrot noses and coal for eyes, they'd stand outside proud and strong, wearing Grandad's old hat and scarf, till the first thaw came along. But I miss the open coal fires for making fresh hot toast, roasting chestnuts or toasting crumpets, and what I miss the most is the lovely warm glow the fire gave when we came in from the cold, and drying mittens and socks and hats and coats. Oh dear, am I growing old? Have I forgotten that only one room was warm? There was ice inside and out. Our faces glowed, but our backs stayed cold, so not too much to shout about. Whereas now I have central heating and the warmest of downy duvets. But my heart still yearns for those bygone years when fun filled the coldest of days. Not the fear of falling and breaking my hip or the car skidding on ice. So I treat myself to a glass of mulled wine that's full of exotic spice. And everything seems to glow from my head right down to my feet. Then I snuggle down, shut out all the cold, and wait for next summer's heat. Ah, thanks as always, Joyce. Great stuff. Yes, I think we're all looking forward to next summer's heat and hopefully a glorious spring before it. Just hold on, folks. It's just around the corner, only a few weeks away. I can see those daffodils pushing through the grass in the garden now, so come on, spring. I think we've all certainly had enough of winter, haven't we?
Oh, darling, it's so dark on these winter nights. I can't safely see my way down the steps to our driveway. Oh, what shall we do?
Stop! Don't go anywhere. Footlights brings all homeowners the miracle solution to all their outdoor lighting needs. Step lights, floodlights, developed by Footlights engineers and utilizing state-of-the-art LED technology, is a brighter and more energy-efficient way to light pathways, driveways, and highways.
Oh, that's so much better.
Step lights, floodlights from Footlights. Call for a quote now.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Lockdown levity, ah ha 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 ha.
Hello there, Chinas. It's your old pal Chick Murray here. Good to see you in this lovely winter season. Here's a good one for you. Knock, knock. Who's there? Abby. Abby who? Abby New Year. My New Year's resolution is to stop procrastinating. I think I'll make a start. What's the problem with jogging on New Year's Eve? The ice falls out of your drink. Youth is when you're allowed to stay up for New Year's. Middle-aged is when you're forced to.
That was, of course, our own dear Neil Avery with his lovely rendition of Auld Lang Syne. And following on the New Year theme, we now have this.
Not a lot of people know this.
From the 12th century and until Britain adopted the Gregorian calendar in 1752, the official New Year was not on January the 1st, but on March the 25th.
Really?
So it's like a kind of spring festival as opposed to a winter festival.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Well, back in the days of Protestant Reformation in Scotland, celebrating Christmas was a rarity. No turkey or presents for 400 years, and so winter solstice became the celebration of choice, which eventually became Hogmanay, New Year's Eve. So, where did Hogmanay come from, Ross?
Very good question there, Miss Marple. Very good question. The thing is no one really knows. There's talk of it being a Gaelic tradition, a Celtic tradition, but no, they don't have a definite on that one.
Ah, so it's a Scottish mystery.
Aye, a bit like the Loch Ness Monster. Ooh. Scotland changed its New Year's Day to January the 1st in 1600. Well, that's round about 4 o'clock in Old Bunny, isn't it?
Oh, boom.
Thank you.
To first foot a house is to ensure good luck. The male should be dark-haired. What with all the Viking invasions Scotland had experienced, a fair-haired first footer, as you can imagine, wouldn't have been particularly welcome. Coal is also brought to warm the house, shortbread to fill the belly, and a whisky to warm the heart.
Oh, I think I'll go and warm my heart in a few moments. Rabbie Burns was born on the 25th of January 1759 in the village of Alloway near Ayr, and the song Auld Lang Syne is long associated with him. He's often attributed with the most iconic version, however, another tune with older origins was his inspiration.
Ah, that's interesting, Ross. I didn't know that.
Indeed, yeah.
Well, speaking of New Year's Eve, Hogmanay is one of the biggest events on the Scottish calendar, with crowds in their tens of thousands on the streets of Edinburgh alone. Well, not last year, obviously. In 2000, The world record for the largest country dance had 1,914 people jigging to Strip the Willow.
Oh, the good old Scottish country dance, and that brings back memories, Lorraine, of the dashing white sergeant, the gay Gordons, and perhaps even stripping the willow, dancing that in the school hall and the first year dance.
Ah,
Do you have anything like that?
I do have some memories like that. Yes, indeed. It does sound very familiar. Did you know, Ross, that January is named after the two-headed god Janus, who could look backwards and forwards to the old year and to the new at the same time?
Wow, it's all Greek to me, Lorraine. Burns died on the 21st of July 1796 at the young age of 37. But his birthday is remembered every 25th of January at Burns suppers across the world. Speeches, poems and music feature, as well as generous helpings of haggis, tatties and neeps, and the odd dram or two. They are particularly popular in China, where they sing their version of Auld Lang Syne, known as Yu Yi Di Jiu Tian Chang, or Friendship Forever and Ever. Phew, I got through that.
Well done, Ross. And speaking of haggis, authentic Scottish haggis is still banned in America, as the US Department of Agriculture took a dim view back in 1971 to one of its ingredients, sheep's lung.
Yum, yum. Here's a thought, Lorraine. If you don't want to be bothered starting a new calendar or diary this year, you can dig one out for 2007 and reuse it. The days of the week are the same.
Oh, so does that mean that we can do that every 7 years, Ross?
Well, don't ask me, Lorraine. It was only me that wrote the questions.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you, Lorraine. And thank you, Hans.
Thank you, Hans. Nostalgia is a wonderful thing, and it's great to look back, isn't it? So here's something that we can all enjoy.
Remember all those wonderful parties as a child? The jelly, the ice cream, the games, and of course the songs. Well, Footlights Records presents Elvis Sings Children's Party Favorites. Remember the marching fun we had to this one?
Oh, the grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up or down.
And of course, we all recall...
Oh, Jack and Jill went off the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after.
And who could forget the timeless...
You put your left hand in, you put your left hand out, you put your left hand in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey-cokey and you turn around. Oh, that's what it's all about. Let's rock!
Available direct from Footlights Records and all good music stores now.
During these difficult times of COVID restrictions, it has been even more challenging technically to get the podcast completed. So huge thanks to Hans, as always, and also to our new Radio Footlights supporter in Scotland, Mr. Alec Lowe, who has given us so much of his time and skill from afar. We've all had to be very creative and resourceful with our technology, so well done, team. Fortunately, this month's guest has his own recording facilities at home, so we were able to put our interview together across 4 separate households, and here's the result. Mr. Johnny Coppin, welcome to Radio Footlights. It's a pleasure to have you with us, and we're delighted that you're our very first guest of 2021. Thanks for joining us. And following on the theme of firsts, I was reflecting on the first time our paths would have crossed. I reckon that would have been on the barge Semmington in the docks, where I worked in the mid-80s. As many listeners may remember, it was a great little venue, ideal for all kinds of events, folk, jazz, theatre, etc. But I think we first met properly when we both took part in the Festival Players production of All's Well That Ends Well in 1993. I know you've composed music for that touring theatre company for pretty much every year since then, which is an amazing achievement. But I wondered if you had any particular memories of All's Well. I remember we did performances in Guernsey and here in Gloucester at the New Inn in the courtyard.
Yes, that was my second year as musical director for the Festival Players, and I don't have many memories way back then, but I know it was a great company of 9½, including your good self, and of course the noise of seagulls at the New Inn was a bit of a problem, but also I remember there was always a challenge for me as a musician to teach actors singing and harmonies, but I realised quickly that actors can always put across a song really well, whereas you wouldn't want to ask a singer to act. It doesn't work as well. But I have enjoyed writing the music and directing it for every performance ever since, and I hope we'll get back to it maybe this year, but it may have to wait till another year, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And the sooner the better. And yes, I remember those seagulls now. Ah, the perils of open-air theatre. Well, from summer to winter now, Johnny, many listeners will have attended your Christmas concerts, either at Cheltenham Town Hall or more recently at the Stroud subscription rooms and other venues. These events have become almost synonymous with Christmas, and I've actually heard people saying that the festive season hasn't really started until they've been to one of your performances. So can you tell us, please, what it is about this special time of year that has inspired you so much? Was there a particular Christmas experience that still resonates for you?
Well, I've always loved singing Christmas carols, love Christmas music, and it goes back to when I was very young in the school choir and carol singing in the streets with the church choir. And I was very lucky in the mid-80s to go with my father to see the 9 lessons and carols at the King's College, Cambridge, and that was a real inspiration for me just before West Country Christmas album. And of course, I've always loved researching new carols, creating new songs from poems, from various albums and for our annual Christmas show. Sadly, of course, that didn't happen late last year, but I did bring out a live album. It's called Midwinter and was recorded on the last night of the December 2019 Christmas tour with the whole band. I'm really quite pleased with it, and I think it does go some way to capture some of the atmosphere that was happening at the Bacon Theatre in Cheltenham.
Oh yes, it certainly does that. Great album, available from your website of course, and we thoroughly recommend it. Many congratulations on that, Johnny. Now, my next question is, how old were you when you had your first guitar or keyboard, and what are your memories of that time?
Well, my mum and dad both played the piano, so with the piano at home it was very natural for me around about the age of 7 to start having piano lessons. But my heart really wasn't in it, and around about the age of 9 I think I must have given it up. And by the age of 12, I was desperate to have a guitar because I was listening to lots of rock and roll music. And I got a very cheap guitar, a Russian one, early on with very high action. And I persevered with a tutor book and managed to get some chords together. Then by the age of 13, I'd formed a band with my cousin and some friends. And we did lots of gigs between the ages of 13 and 16, 17, all around northeast London and Epping Forest. So that was my early days of making music.
Great stuff. Well, I'm intrigued by the Russian guitar. Now, I understand that you came here to study in Cheltenham in 1965. Was that the first time you had visited Gloucestershire, or had you been here before that, as a child perhaps?
No, as a child, whenever we went away for our holidays, we always went to the coast. So coming to Gloucestershire in 1965 was my very first visit. Yes, I came on the train from Paddington, absolutely fantastic journey, and then to Swindon, and then we turned off across to Kemble, and then through the tunnel, and then into the magical Stroud Valley. That left such an impression on me. Beautiful little valley there, and on our way to Cheltenham. And funnily enough, I still live very near that particular valley.
Well, we're very glad that you stayed with us. And I have to say that in my view, for over 4 decades, you have consistently captured the spirit of this part of the country through your music, combined with the work of local poets such as Laurie Lee and many others. But is there a favourite place in Gloucestershire that means the most to you? And if so, why? Perhaps you might share that with us.
Well, that's a hard one to answer. I love so many places. I particularly love Gloucester Cathedral because of its associations with music from Elgar, Holst, Vaughan Williams, and of course Ivor Gurney and F.W. Harvey and various poets, of course. And I love all the valleys around Stroud, but I think I'm drawn mostly to the high hills, and my favourite of all is Haresfield Beacon, where you can stand on top there and look right across the River Severn to the Forest of Dean beyond. A wonderful view indeed. It sums up the whole county, you know, the forest and the vale and the high blue hill.
Yeah, that's so true. Haresfield Beacon is a superb spot to be. And I totally agree about the cathedral as well. It's a real gem, isn't it? So, Johnny, now coming back to how we began our chat, what is the first thing you plan to do when life returns to some sort of normality?
Well, actually, I've got a list of things I'd love to do. I'd love to see friends and family and go to a live gig somewhere or play a live gig. Would be fantastic. But I think the very first thing I'll do when life returns to some sort of normality is go to the sea. Yes, it's ages since I've been to breathe that wonderful air in Cornwall or Devon or somewhere like that. So the very first thing will be to go to the sea.
Well, that sounds like an excellent plan to me, and I'm sure it would do us all the power of good. Johnny, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. We wish you well with all your endeavours this year. Do please join us again sometime. Until then, take care, stay well, and many thanks.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me. Well, you take care as well and stay safe.
This night the stars like jewels shine high over Birdlip Hill, and Severn's part a silvery line, smooth flowing at her will, while all the lamps of Gloucester town are twinkling and the moon beams down upon these fields of mine. How can this ever pass away, this home of hills and trees? I rather think on Judgment Day, when all are on their knees, they'll find he through the clouds shall rise, that Gloucestershire is paradise, and heaven's fields are the stars like jewels shine high over Birdlip Hill, and Severn's part a silvery line, smooth flowing at her will, while all the lamps of Gloucester town are twinkling and the moon beats down upon these fields of mine.
That was Johnny Coppins' This Night the Stars from his album The Gloucestershire Collection. It was really great to do that interview with him using all our new technology to the full. But let's not forget the good old-fashioned landline telephone and how that's still connecting us all during these challenging times. Our Jolly Jukebox service has been running since the first lockdown, and all you need to do is to call us on 01452 520883 to request a song, either for yourself, a friend or a member of your family, maybe for a birthday or a special occasion, or simply to say you're thinking of them. We'll sing that song down the phone to them, delivering a personal and special rendition. Lots of you are already joining in with this, but we'd love to do more and to reach other folk out there who are maybe feeling a bit down or lonely at this time. A song can always lift our spirits, and the same goes, of course, for a good laugh.
Lockdown, levity, ah ha 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 ha.
Here's a good one. An iPhone and a firework were arrested on New Year's Eve. One was charged and the other was let off. What do you call someone who says they know all the words to Auld Lang Syne? A liar. A man who had too much to drink decides to walk home on New Year's Eve. A policeman stopped the man and asked him where he was going. I'm on the way to a lecture, the man replied. The cop scoffed, who gives lectures on New Year's Eve? The man answered, my wife.
Many thanks, Chick. And now, over to Johnny Coppin to introduce our next song.
And now, new to the folk scene, here's Ross Campbell and Alec Lowe with their rendition of Will You Go, Lassie Go.
Oh, the summer time has gone, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows among the purple heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all across the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower by yon crystal flowing fountain, and on it I shall lay all the flowers of the mountain. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all across the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? I will build my love a shelter by yon clear mountain stream, and my love shall be the fairest that the summer sun has seen. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all across the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all across the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go?
Brilliant. Can you believe that all started with Ross recording himself singing in the shower stall here in Gloucester, and then the musical accompaniment was added later by Alec in East Kilbride, 340 miles away? Amazing job. We are so fortunate to be blessed with such gifted musicians here on Radio Footlights. Thanks to Ross for his vocal talent and for compiling all the images, and to Joyce, Johnny, Hans, Alec and Neil, who will now play us out with his own up-tempo version of Auld Lang Syne. We'll be back in February for a romantic Valentine-themed podcast. Till then, take care and stay well, folks. Bye for now.